There's even in really brilliant drama. I mean, like when they get inside the house, every single one of the SWAT guys that's going through the door would be a stunt performer. The big thing is that our job is to serve the story, like first and foremost. There's no point us doing the coolest gag ever if it doesn't suit the story. You know, the example that I use for that is I did a film a few years ago called Palm Beach where I was doubling Sam Neill, and we had a fight between Brian Brown and Sam Neill. Now, if all of a sudden they started throwing these amazing, martial arts kicks at each other, it wouldn't make sense at all. So we choreographed a fight of two people that don't deserve to be in a fight ever in their lives. Because that's what needed to suit the story.
And what is this recognition? It's going to be happening in 2 years' time, so 2027. What is it going to mean for the Australian stunt industry?
Well, one thing it definitely means is it's only going to be a matter of time before an Australian wins an Oscar in the category, because I think there's a lot of very talented, Australian stunt coordinators and performers that are not too far from working their way up to coordinator as well, that, in the next few years could definitely be competing for it. The biggest thing for us is that, despite the fact that we sort of pride ourselves on being, the grey people of the industry and sort of trying to fly under the radar and trying to just be the quiet professionals. Every now and then when you end up in the discussions like we're in right now with the Producers Association, where you need to sort of legitimise your profession, being able to say that we have an Oscar, like there's an Oscar category, it's something that matters, like that does carry weight. And the thing that I'm actually excited about, just the people that I've spoken to about the announcement today, is we've all been discussing the fact that, well, now maybe it's time for us to approach ACTA and the Australian industry and start going, so now that we've got the SAG Award, we've got the Oscars, how about we look at getting a stunt award for the Australian industry?
What a great idea. That is Aidan Gillette, Australian actor, stunt actor and stunt rigger. Gout has begun his Australian Athletics Championships with a convincing win in the under-20s 100 metres in Perth. The 17-year-old Queenslander ran both a heat and a final in under 10 seconds, but neither time will be officially recognised due to an illegal tailwind. ABC Sport Daily spoke with commentator Bruce McAvaney about the astonishing feat and how the teenager is impacting athletics.
I think the consistency, Patrick, the fact that he's able to do it twice in the one night.
He got not such a good start tonight. Kelly just leads him from Kepagelli. Outright Cassiano and John. Now Gout starts to stretch away. And stretch away he does. And he's done it. He's broken the 10 seconds again.
Conditions obviously were favourable, but it had cooled down by the time that he came back after the heat, less than 3 hours later. And didn't get the absolute best start in the final, but he composed himself and he was the obvious favourite. So I guess not pressure from a Kennedy or a Browning, etc. But I just think the ability to back up. We know the hype that's surrounding him, the attention and the expectation, but he seems to be handling it oh so well. I mean, he's just a rare talent, we know that.
We're kind of running out of words to describe him. There's maybe not enough superlatives. What are you expecting in the 200 when he renews his battle with Lachlan Kennedy, who bested him at the Murray Plant?
The conditions will be the key, Patrick. They've been perfect in Perth, and I think they will remain that way until late on Saturday. But the forecast is for colder and rain on Sunday, so that might be a dampener, excuse the pun, on what could be something remarkable in terms of the time. So the battle between the two, just the first over the line like it was in Melbourne, will be enthralling, because Gout will want to get back on top of Kennedy. When I say get back on top of him, to strike a blow, and vice versa. So just that battle royale between the two. But if the conditions are right, there's no reason why certainly Gout can't break 20 seconds. So I think we're all just looking forward to Sunday with great anticipation, both for the competition between the pair of them and what time they might post.
Kennedy's in front. Gout's coming hard. Very, very hard. Kennedy's won. He's upset him. He's beaten him by a whisker.
How about the Australian athletics as a governing body and the broader scene and the way it's coping with the interest that this young man is generating. You've seen a lot of Australian athletes over the journey. There must be a real uniqueness to this particular emergence that we're seeing.
I'm talking to you on a Friday here now. This is probably symbolic. I'm going to a lunch today here in Perth where it's a foundation lunch for Australian athletics where there's probably about 15 or 20 people in the room. Nina Kennedy, the Olympic pole vault champion, and Cam Myers, the world junior record holder. There's the three athletes there. Kerry Stokes is hosting the lunch with James Fleming and Simon Holland-Firth, the two big people in Australian athletics, with a group of high-powered business people from Western Australia. That's the type of interest. And, you know, Jane and Simon, some precious cargo, knowing we haven't been in this position for such a long time, if ever. And one athlete in particular that's captured everybody's attention has transcended the sport. So that's just a bit of an example of where this is reaching at the moment. It's going beyond the sport and going to levels and areas that can benefit the sport going forward in this long build up to Brisbane in 7 years' time.
Commentator Bruce McAvaney speaking there to Patrick Stack. And get this, tonight in Perth, Australian sprinter Lachlan Kennedy has just run the second fastest ever legal time by an Australian over 100 metres on his way to winning his heat at the assisted 9.99. Kennedy blitzed his heat to finish in 10 seconds flat. Incredible. That's it from me here on ABC News Radio, the ASX quarter US cents. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you on Monday. News time. French President Emmanuel Macron says US President Donald Trump's decision to temporarily suspend higher tariffs will only give room for a fragile pause. Patricia Tiano has the details.
The EU was due to launch counter tariffs in the United States next Tuesday in response to a 25% levy on European steel and aluminium. However, it paused measures following the Trump administration's 90-day freeze and is now assessing how to respond to the broader 10% tax that remains in place. Emmanuel Macron says the suspension sends out a signal that a door is open for talks, but says a 90-day pause only means 90 days of uncertainty for businesses worldwide. Mr. Macron also reaffirmed that France will be working with the EU to present negotiation terms to the US, which aim to reach a deal that can remove American tariffs altogether.
Meanwhile, Chinese state media is reporting Beijing will impose 125% tariffs on US goods from Saturday, up from the 84% previously announced. It followed a chaotic week in global stock markets, which have seen sharp declines and big irresponsible. Today, Peter Dutton questioned Labor's commitment to the nuclear submarine and military technology sharing pact. First, Anthony of the bipartisanship surrounding the pact.
Well, that's a question for Peter Dutton.
Medicine stocks are critically low due to Israel's aid block in Gaza, making it hard to keep hospitals even partially operational. Aid workers say their 3 warehouses have a severe shortage of antibiotics, IV fluids and blood bags. It comes after Israel's aid blockade enters its 6th week. Israel has stopped all convoys from entering the Gaza Strip in order to pressure Hamas to release all remaining Israeli hostages. Fertility experts say nothing can be done about human errors made during the IVF process after a major embryo bungle led to a woman giving birth to another couple's baby in Brisbane. Monash IVF, which operates across Australia, has admitted human error led to a different patient's embryo being implanted into the woman who then gave birth to the baby last year. Medical Director of Life Fertility Sydney, Professor Michael Chapman, says it's tough to make the process fully error-free.
There is such a thing as human error. We all know about it, and then there's nothing we can do about it. We're handling sperm, we're handling eggs, we're handling embryos in thousands. And sadly, we can't mitigate against absolute disasters like this.
The Adelaide Magistrates Court is 40-year-old former opposition leader last month pleaded guilty to 2 counts of supplying a controlled drug at Kingston Park in Adelaide South in August 2024. The prosecution today told the court he has invited 2 friends. Charged over the offending last September. Over the crime, saying it may impact his ability to visit family members overseas. Spears will be sentenced later this month. The Bureau of Meteorology says a tropical low off WA's Kimberley coast could develop into a cyclone as early as Saturday afternoon. Tropical low 29U is currently north of Darwin and making its way towards the Kimberley, where it's expected to have coastal impact late on Saturday. WA's Department of Fire and Emergency Services is urging residents to make preparations as damaging wind gusts. An Australian sprinter, Lachlan Kennedy, has run the second fastest ever legal time by an Australian over 100 metres on his way to winning his heat at the Athletics Nationals in Perth. A day after Gathgout ran a wind-assisted 9.99, Kennedy blitzed his heat to finish in 10 seconds flat. And you're up to date with the latest from ABC News. For more news at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app. For your capital city weather forecast for the day ahead. Starting in Brisbane, a top of 26 degrees, showers expected. A top of 26 as well in Sydney, also a shower or 2 expected. In Canberra, mostly sunny, a top of 26 for you as well. In Melbourne, partly cloudy day ahead, a maximum of 31 degrees. Hobart, you're heading for a top of 22 degrees, mostly sunny. In Adelaide, a top of 34 degrees, mostly sunny conditions ahead of you. In Perth, a top of 27 degrees, showers too, and showers as well in Darwin, 32 degrees for you. It's time to link up with our broadcast partners at the BBC.
This is Americast, the BBC's podcast on US news and current affairs. I'm Justin Webb, and I'm one of the hosts of Americast. Every week we get together to analyse the biggest stories in the US, and this week that story, of course, is tariffs. We'd actually finished recording a different program on Wednesday when the news broke that Donald Trump was pausing higher tariffs for 90 days on most countries. Here's how he explained his decision.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the president, they wouldn't have done it.
So this episode I'm joined by my co-hosts, Anthony Zerker and Mariana Spring, to assess why Trump has decided to pause those tariffs but raise them on China, why some Democrats are accusing the president of market manipulation. Welcome to America.
America from BBC News.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
President Trump's message is very simple. We are done being taken advantage of.
Mr. President, in the name of our God, have mercy upon the people who are scared now.
Are you supportive of people? I'm supportive of vaccines.
What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare.
This is what victory feels like.
Virginia, and it's Justin at home in South London.
And it is Mariana, aka Misinformation in the World. America. How the BBC.
Okay, it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon in London on the 10th of April, and I say all of that because